So this woman made a post, okay, get a good look at her, okay? And her caption was something she's not afraid to admit as a black autistic woman. Nah, I'm confused. I'm lost because where the black at? Now, the point that this white woman ended up making, because clearly this is not a black woman, like that's for darn Skippy not the case here, okay? So, the point that she ended up making was that a lot of times, a lot of white autistic people downplay the added hardships that black autistic people face. Now, I mean, if you're black, this is kind of common sense. That's kind of the whole premise of intersectionality, right? A lot of black people are not just black. We're black and something else. Like, I'm black and a woman, whereas somebody, not her, okay, not her, but somebody is black and autistic, right? There are people who are black and LGBTQ or black and disabled, right? And of course, being black and blank comes with hardships that people who are just blank don't face. So people who are white and whatever don't face the specific nuances of being black and whatever. One of the ways that this has been talked about is in the aspect of police brutality, because I remember there was a picture, this was years ago, right? There was a picture a black woman had like written on, I can't even remember, like the side of her house or something, like, oh, I have an autistic son, like if the cops come, please don't shoot him, don't think that he's being threatening or whatever, right? So, again, this conversation gets brought up in terms of police brutality, for example, the fact that a black person with autism is going to be perceived as a threat, whereas a white person with autism is not, because white people, period, ain't perceived as threats, and black people, period, are, right? So again, this white ally, she pointed out that people who are black and autistic go through things that people who are white and autistic do not. And we, the black people delegation, we appreciate that, Becky. We really do. But let's get to the fact that this woman is not black. She talking about, yo, Skiddly, as a black autistic woman. What? Where? What? Huh? Where? What? I'm lost. Where is the black autistic representation? Because this right here is not it. Like this woman, baby, it's giving beans on toast. It's giving mom's broccoli casserole. Ooh, y'all remember them Campbell's chicken noodle them commercials be like Campbell's chicken noodle possibilities, and they be making a casserole, some shit. She fit right in one of them commercials. Like, the little white kids making a table and the mom's like, yo, diggity, yeah, I love Campbell's. Like, she would fit right in that shit. Like, girl, you're one of the family. Like, for real though, like where is the black at, dog? I'm sorry. I took an edible before I started recording this, so like, what? Like, I'm legitimately flabbergasted. Like, my timbers have been shivered. I'm just lost because, like, what is going on? Something about this is just fundamentally off. Like, imagine somebody presents an argument to you about whatever. You can think about anything that you're passionate about, climate change or human trafficking or whatever, right? They present this argument to you, right? And they present these points. And every point lies on the assumption that the first point is factual, right? So they come to you and they say, okay, point A is this. And because of this, point B is that. And because of this, point C does blah, 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 which results in point D being whatever, right? But again, all of this is based on the assumption that point A is actually correct, right? Now, I'm saying this because y'all will sit here and tell me Flower Tower, she's a black woman. And then I'll say, well, explain to me how, right? And then y'all go back to some faulty ass point A. She's black because blackness comes in all shades. No, it doesn't. She's black because the one drop rule, it means that one drop of black makes you black. That shit's false. She's black because anybody straight dog can be black. Blackness is not actually rooted in any reality. It's the so and so and so. Bitch, you sound dumb. Again, we keep going back to point A, right? All of these arguments for claiming anybody as black It's all rooted on this faulty ass foundation. All of this shit just falls apart. I cannot even be 100% like mad at the people who play in black people's face, right? Like, come on now, like Casserole Cassie, a black woman, like be for real, buddy, right? I can't even be mad at her though, because black people encourage this and allow it. This is the reality. I done said this 100 times, and I'm gonna say it 100 more. A lot of black people have an inferiority complex, and that's really not that surprising, because we live in this white supremacist world that tells us that everything that makes us black is inferior, right? So a lot of black people end up being indoctrinated with this successfully, and they end up really internalizing it, right? So a lot of them have this serious inferiority complex, and they hate everything that makes them black. So they are so happy to embrace non-black people and pretend that they are black, because quite frankly, that's what they wish blackness was, right? So when you see somebody talking about, oh, well, blackness comes in all shades, they know that shit's not true. They know that blackness has a very unique look, that you can look at somebody and tell they black, right? But they will sit there and pretend that clearly non-black people fit the descriptor of black, because they wish that blackness looked like that. They wish that blackness did not look like me. They wish it looked like something else. Honestly, I don't know why I'm different, because like I grew up in the same society as y'all, and it attempted to indoctrinate me with the same things that it successfully indoctrinated a lot of y'all with, right? But for some reason, it just didn't work on me. Like I never ever believed any of this shit. Like growing up, colorism was huge, right? And a lot of people internalized that. You heard a lot of people walking around talking about, oh, like dark-skinned people ugly, light-skinned people so-and-so, yada, yada, yada. And let me be clear, it was not just the light-skinned people. It was dark-skinned people, too. There were dark-skinned people who had internalized their own inferiority. And I never believed that shit. Couldn't nobody tell me shit long ago, way back before everybody woke up and became, like all pro-black and so-and-so on the internet. When y'all was in real life talking about, oh, dark-skinned people is burnt, crispy roaches, so-and-so, couldn't nobody convince me of that shit. I never believed that shit ever. Like, even in the middle of all of this shit, before, it became popularized for folks to be talking about melanin magic and so-and-so and so, I had the audacity to really believe that blackness was beautiful. Nobody could convince me that I was ugly because I was dark skinned. Nobody could convince me of that shit. And I would tell bitches straight to their fucking face, bitch, you're ugly, you're just light skinned. And people are delusional as fucking pretend that makes you cute. You know what I'm saying? Even back then, like this shit never worked on me, bro. When people was walking around talking about, oh, so-and-so got good hair, I was rocking my real naps. Like this shit just never worked on me. Like, I don't know. I don't know, because I really, really do believe that blackness, real blackness, not this blackness comes in all shades and blackness is white and blackness is this and no, real blackness is so beautiful. Ask anybody I motherfucking went to school with, they gonna tell your ass, oh yeah, Rachel always thought she was the baddest bitch. Didn't think, bitch. I knew I was the baddest bitch, and I knew you was ugly as fuck. I knew that. In the height of colorism, in the height of hair texturism, I was dark skinned with nappy hair, and I knew for a motherfucking fact I was the greatest thing since sliced motherfucking bread. So when you bitches woke up and started acknowledging, oh yeah, like Flower a bad bitch, I been knew that. Couldn't no motherfucking body convince me that I was not cute. Like no motherfucking body, like, cause bitch, I still look in the motherfucking mirror. I don't give a fuck, bitch. Like this my thing. Excuse me, Lord. I'm supposed to not be cussing. I don't give a flim flam, bratwurst. Like I tell y'all, I look in the mirror to this day and I be like, girl, you's a bad mama jamma. Like that has always been the case. Always been the case. Let me say one last thing and let me just, end this rant, okay? So many people are uncomfortable with really dissecting their beliefs, their thoughts, their behaviors, so and so, right? So many people are uncomfortable with this. In fact, this was something that I really struggled with because I was raised a Christian and I was legitimately a Christian for a very long time. And there are going to be people who comment under this like, well, if you're not a Christian now, then you were never a Christian truly. But that's not true at all. I was really a Christian. Like, that was really something that I believed in. I was not one of those people who just went to church or just did it out of habit or whatever. No, it was really something that, like, I can't even explain it, y'all. Like if y'all knew me back then, y'all, baby, I was teaching Sunday school and stuff, right? Like I really believed this stuff for a long time. And finally, when I was in my early 20s, like 2021, I don't know. I started really questioning this stuff. I don't know what it was that made the light switch kind of flick for me. I'm not sure what it was, but I really started to question my beliefs. I was struggling with my faith really badly, right? So, do you know what I did for a while? Like, at least a couple months. I feel like longer, right? I said, you know what? I'm just not going to think about it. Okay? So, like, I was struggling with my faith. And instead of thinking, well, why am I struggling? Maybe, maybe this is not for me or whatever. My first reaction was, this makes me uncomfortable. I'm going to push it to the back of my mind, right? And I did that I did it for at least a couple months, but I feel like it was longer than that, right? And I did that, but something in the back of my mind was always kind of like, what are you doing? Because like I kept going to church, I kept reading the Bible, I kept going through the motions of being a Christian, right? But in the back of my mind, there was that little thought like, we're not confronting something. Finally, months or like a year or however long later, I finally allowed myself to sit with these thoughts that were so uncomfortable to me, that were so hard to, like address head on. I finally allowed myself to sit with these thoughts, and I came to a very uncomfortable conclusion that I wasn't a Christian anymore. And it's crazy because you would think it would be some big like, ooh, hurrah, I found myself thing, right? But initially it was so hurtful, it was so heartbreaking, because this was something that I had like really been a part of for a very long time. So I felt like I was losing a part of my identity. It was uncomfortable at first. It was downright scary, but I took the time to unpack these things, and now I'm the best version of myself, okay? So I'm saying that for a reason. If you black and you be out here talking about, yeah, blackness comes in all shades. Miley Cyrus is black too, because blackness is social. It's not about being a big lip black baboon like yourself, right? If you're one of those types of black people, ask yourself why exactly you are perpetuating this. And then allow yourself the opportunity to sit with these thoughts and see what you come up with.